Hi, this is Amy Novakoski with Ginger Snapworks. After a long setup process, apparently my internet doesn't like to work when I want to do a Google Hangout. So I've been spending the past 40 minutes trying to get connected to the internet. But I don't want to wait anymore. Tonight I have Rhonda Wall of VA Village with us. Rhonda, say hi.
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 I'm so glad you got your
Rhonda, through
internet
the course
working.
of this Hangout, oh,
What?
I can't see my video. Anyway, all right, we'll just work with it. So Rhonda, throughout the course of tonight's
Okay.
hangout, I want to have a lot of fun, and I want you to answer two questions. And those two questions
Okay.
are, what's the difference between a VA and an OBM, and when do you know that you need to hire an OBM and not a VA? But before we get there, Rhonda
Okay.
of the VA Village, I want you to tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. I like long walks on the beach, and I like to manage businesses.
And you like really,
Um,
really long hashtags.
I do. I that are very long. I actually do. Yeah, I am an online business manager. I was a VA for probably about 8 or 9 years, and then I realized that I was actually an online business manager. So I changed my title, and now I'm an online business manager for real in real life. And I've been doing a total of about 11 years now, and I really love
Awesome.
it.
Awesome. Tell us a little bit about the VA Village.
The VA village is my village of VAs, just like it says. So I created this village because I realized that people need complete support. So I have my little village of complete support people that help with supporting the back end. I really like my village. It's really cute, and I can play around with it and have village idiots, and I can be the mayor and all of that good stuff. So VA Village kind of it. My slogan has always been "It takes a village," and it does to raise children. It takes a village to manage a business and be successful in that business. And so VA Village was just a perfect fit for that.
Awesome. Awesome. So talk a little bit about okay. So what is the difference between a virtual assistant and an online business manager?
Okay, great. Assistant is more task oriented. So think of that as more you have tasks that you need to get done, and your virtual assistant can take care of those tasks, maybe setting up your shopping cart or setting up your email marketing or posting your social media or just connecting your opt-in pages or sales pages or whatever it is that's on the back end. They are more task oriented. So that's what a virtual assistant does.
Mm-hmm.
Now, an online business manager takes that like a step further. So an online business manager does just that. They help you manage the business. So they may not be doing the actual task for you, but they are managing the people who are doing the task. So maybe they're managing a virtual assistant or several virtual assistants working with you and other team members that make your business run smooth. Plus, they are also strategizing with you on how to do things like product launches and things like that, because they've worked with a wide range of clients in your industry. Then they know what it takes to have a successful launch or create a product or whatever it is that you're doing. So that online business manager is looking at your big picture, and they can help manage a lot of your other team members too, so that you're not having to do that and you can focus on what it is that you do best.
Right. So I could just say to you, as my online business manager, I want to do a video course, and then you make all the magic happen that makes that happen, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah, I would then go down a list of things that need to happen to make that happen for you, and you don't have to worry about that. you know that your online business manager is taking care of everything on the back end. They're putting the people in place that can do everything. So anything that they're not doing or their team as an online business manager doesn't do, they're getting the other pieces and they run smoothly. They're also letting you know the pieces that you actually have to do as well. And I had a great question the other day on one of my Hangouts about more specialized things like social media and copywriting. Someone had asked me, would you consider like a social media person being a virtual assistant? And I really don't, because it's a little different. When you're talking about higher end services, then you're talking about specialties like that, like social media. You're a social media person, so you know this for sure. Social media is something that you have to constantly be monitoring. And a virtual assistant or an online business manager even doesn't have time to just sit and constantly monitor your social media. So if you're looking to make like a huge impact in social media, or you're looking to make like a huge impact with your copywriting, or higher level services like that, then you need to hire those professionals. And that's something too that an online business manager can help you with. They can help connect you with those professionals that can do the higher end. As an online business manager, I tell my clients, yeah, I can write your sales page, or yeah, I can write your social media posts, but I'm not a social media expert. I'm not a copywriter, and I don't play one online. So it will be good, but it's not going to be great, and it's not going to give you full impact. So that was a good question that I got, because a virtual assistant can be like a wide range of things, and there's a lot of people that call themselves virtual assistants doing all different types of tasks. And there are, not to say that there aren't virtual assistants that are really good at social media or really good at copywriting, but in general, that's a higher level service that like an online business manager can help you find.
Right. So would you recommend that people go like hire a virtual assistant and then have them do those services, like copywriting, or like how do you, I guess like the question is, how do you know that your virtual assistant can actually do a task that you give them? Like just like the social media example, anybody can Facebook post, but can you write in a Facebook post that effectively drives traffic, right? That would be the difference between a social media expert and a VA. So like what's the best way to evaluate either your online business manager or their VA for the skills that they actually have?
Right. One good way, the best way, is to ask for referrals and see what other people's experience has been with that person in that area. That's going to be your number one way to find out. Another way to find out is maybe just hire them for a small project. So start out small and just have them do a small project for you and see how impactful it was, or how well you got along together, how good the communication was, and all of that. So both of those ways are really good. Word of mouth is really, most of my clients come from referrals, which is really nice, because my clients will say really nice things about me and then refer someone else. Or I have great people in the industry like yourself who have clients that need support in things that you don't do. And so they'll refer people to me. So getting referrals is number one, because you already have someone that's already had an experience with that person, or you can, try them out with a little project.
So I've worked with a virtual assistant before, right? And what I found really difficult for myself as a business owner is like getting all the stuff that's in my head out of my head and into a format that my virtual assistant can understand. So what can business do to make your job easier?
Right. That's where an online business manager comes in very handy, rather than a virtual assistant. Because a virtual assistant is going to take tasks that you want done, and they're going to do them. But an online business manager can take things as simple as your goals and turn those into tasks that can be handled without you having to task everything out. So they can say, okay, Amy, what do you have planned for the next month or the next 3 months? And what are your goals? Are you going to launch a product? Are you, just getting started? Are you wanting to do list building or whatever it is? What are your goals for the next 3 months? And that's kind of what I do with my clients. We do like a 3-month plan. I just find out what their goals are, and just knowing their goals, I know what needs to be done. And then I can kind of break it down into little bites for them.
Right.
And say, okay, I'm going to do this stuff, and then what I'm going to need from you is I'm going to need this information, this information, and this information. So they have kind of a checklist of just getting me information, and then I can organize it in a way that it can be tasked out so that you don't have to do that. Because it's hard to get things, I know, because I've grown my own business. So I know sometimes it's hard to, you're like, how do I get all this stuff out of my head and just over to this other person? I wish I had like an external hard drive. I could just download it all and stick it in someone else's head and be done with it.
I'm so waiting for the day we can just jack a computer right into our head and it just all comes out, right? So that's a good...
Exactly. That would be so much easier, I know.
So, right? It'd be creepy walking around with a cable hanging out your head. So that's a good, like...
of course.
Yeah, that would be awesome. But then you'd have the little antenna sticking up, and then your hair would be all messed up, right? That's a hashtag in itself, antenna head hairdo. So that's like a good measure of like whether you need a VA or a VA or an OBM is like how overwhelmed are you, and then like if you have all your tasks set up and you know that your VA does these 5 things, then go hire a VA. But if you have broader goals and you're not really sure what it's going to take to get to those goals, then you want to go get an OBM because they're going to have like the plan to get you on track and actually have you be successful.
Right, exactly. That's exactly it. If you already know, if you just have tasks that you're doing, like maybe you're just doing them every day, maybe, or you're sending newsletters, or you're already doing tasks, and you just want to take those tasks off your plate, your VA will work perfectly.
Got it. But if
you're kind of not sure what you need to do and what needs to be done to get to your goal, then an OBM is definitely what you're going to need.
Awesome. So let's talk about the other side of the coin. If you're a virtual assistant, like what can you do to start improving your skills, move over to being an online business manager? Because I know you do some education, right, with virtual assistants because there's a lot of different skills you need to know, right? Yeah. So if I was a VA,
right, there is.
Yeah, if I was a VA looking to start out, what should I be looking to educate myself in?
You want to educate yourself on the main platforms, so like the One Shopping Cart and Endeavor and Constant Contact and those types of services that a lot of people use, even WordPress, because most people now have their websites on. May not be building anything, but you will want to do updates and make small changes to somebody's website, so you're going to know WordPress as well. I do a training course. I'm actually starting one in August that I'm going to be launching here in the next week or two, where I train people to be virtual assistants. So they'll go through a really fun course with me, and we go through all of the platforms, and you learn everything that I have. So it's like I'm going to download that knowledge to you guys, because that's the easy way to learn, because I learned the hard way. I learned the Richard Branson way. It's Richard Branson quote, if you get offered a really good opportunity, say yes and then figure out how to do it. That's how I became a VA.
Oh, I love that quote.
I would have people come to me and say, oh, hey, can you do such and such? That's how I learned, like, Kajabi. Oh, can you do Kajabi? And I'm thinking, how hard could it be? Sure, I can do Kajabi. Oh, yeah, I do Kajabi all the time. So they hire me, and so a lot of stuff I just figured out, and I just grew my skills and grew my skills and grew my kind of I knew that I could figure it out, but and that's one way to do it. I mean, you could take the time and just work with the platforms and figure it out, or you can take a training course. and learn from someone else's experience, which is probably the easier way, and become a virtual assistant. And then I think you need to start as a virtual assistant, learn all of the tax things first. You can't go straight into being an online business manager, because what it takes the experience of
Sure.
working in your industry and getting to know how the industry goes, and all of that, and then you kind of you migrate yourself into being an online business manager. And you can also take courses too to kind of up that as well.
So, can we talk for a second about the topic that I love to hate, and that's email marketing?
Okay, great.
Yeah. So, there's a lot of talk that email marketing is becoming less effective, but it still works, and you have to still grow your list. Like, what do you use? Because you do a lot of email marketing for a lot of different people, right? So, what are you seeing inside the world of email marketing right now? As a
Yes.
general trend, is it
Email marketing has went away, and I don't think that it's not effective. I think it's still very effective. I know
uh,
that social media is really effective as well, but I think email marketing keeps it more on a personal level, because they're getting an email from you. You do need to grow your list, and when you have an online business, that's your real way of communicating with people, and
right?
having a newsletter and things like that. So I definitely think you need to maintain an email marketing list, and you need to keep that list nurtured. So you need to be sending them information, even if it's just, starting like even from DIY Marketers, she does a daily tip thing that she sends out. And that's a
Right.
perfect way to nurture your list. They're getting information from you, and they're hearing from you daily, personally, and that's really good. So I definitely don't think email marketing is dead. I don't think it's going away,
Mhm.
and I think it's very effective.
So, I know a lot of business owners when they start out, right? They're bootstrapping. They're trying to save as much money as possible, right? So they'll often do
Definitely.
like free MailChimp, or I think what is it, Email Mimi or something like that. Like there are free services out there. Do you think you should just like suck it up from the beginning and pay the $19 a month for something like Aweber? Like, what's the best way to get started if you want to build an email list? And then, like, what happens when you get a big list? Because I know we've
Right.
talked a lot about that. Moving a list from one service to another can be really difficult.
It is, and that's one of my soapbox things. Is I tell people, I don't care if you're eating oodles of noodles or Roman noodles or whatever you call them where you are for 6 months. Pay for your email marketing. Do not do the free services. The only people I recommend do free services are like nonprofits, like churches and things like that, because they're not making money from their email marketing list. They're just sending out some information, and they just need an easy way to put everyone in one place and send that information out. Because what happens is the free email marketing services, they're good, but they're not going to sustain you long term. So what's going to happen is you build this great list of people, and then you find out, oh my gosh, I'm outgrowing this. It's not doing what all I needed to do. I can't segment the way I want to, or whatever. You're going to outgrow it, and you're going to outgrow it quickly. Then you have this wonderful list that you worked really hard to build, and now you've got to switch them over to a paid service like Aweber or Constant Contact. I prefer Aweber. That's the one I personally use, and that's the one I recommend. And it's only like $19 a month, up to like 2,500 subscribers. So I definitely say just bite the bullet and do that, because when you go to switch these people over, if you're just asking them to re-opt in to your new provider, you're only going to get maybe 10 to 20% of those people switch over.
Right.
I have had clients that they started with me and they already had a free service. And in order to get a lot of their people over on a list, we had to do like a big contest, like offer an iPad or something like that. So you're looking at like a huge investment just to get people over. And still then you're only looking at maybe 50 to 60% that will actually re-opt into your list, because those will require a re-opt-in to go to AWeber or Constant Contact or iContact. You can't just upload them and move them over. That's not the way it works. So that's why I say pay for it. It's $19 a month. It's not that big a deal, and iContact and Constant Contact are around the same price too. I don't know their exact pricing because I use AWeber, but it's around the same price. I mean, $20 a month. And I'm cheap, believe me. I buy nothing, but I will buy email marketing service because I know how important it is, and I've seen it happen. That's why I warn against that.
What else? Like being cheap is a good question, right? When you're starting your business, you want to save as much money as possible, right? You often don't have,
Right.
piles of cash that you can start handing out. So email marketing, buy your email marketing service, right? That's one.
Yeah.
What are some other things that are like musts that you like do whatever you can to like afford those subscriptions? What are other things that are musts in your opinion?
Another must is don't do these free website things where you can, throw up a website for free, all these free website services, because you're not owning that space and you're very limited as to what you can put in there. So I suggest you buy a domain name. You can, GoDaddy is like $1.99 a year, and then your hosting is only like $5 to $8 depending on what you get a month. So that's minimum cost, but it's very important. And then you can just install WordPress, which is a free platform, and you can get free WordPress templates that are really great. And WordPress is easy to figure out and build your own website with. So I would recommend that's another thing I wouldn't do free, because you're going to have to migrate that website over once you start growing again, and that's going to be a lot of trouble. You've already created traffic to this place. Yeah, buy your domain, do your own hosting, and you have more control over that website as well. So those are things I would definitely pay for. Now, there's some things that people pay for and they shouldn't, like shopping carts. I see a lot of people who are getting into these big shopping carts that they don't need, like Infusionsoft. And even though Infusionsoft is a wonderful platform, not everyone needs it. And most people, like in the coaching and speaking and consulting industry, will never need it. If you don't have a lot of products or complicated streams, then or campaigns, then I wouldn't recommend Infusionsoft at all. And a lot of times you can start out with just PayPal. So you just have PayPal, use the PayPal buttons, and there's no upfront cost for that. You can have a business account with no upfront cost, and they just charge you the percentage once you make sales. So that's a really good way to start out if you're not making any money yet. And then once you start generating some money, then move to a platform like One Shopping Cart, which isn't as expensive. So One Shopping Cart ranges from like $40 a month to $99 a month. The difference is the $99 a month one, you're getting the affiliate platform with it. So if you don't need the affiliate platform, you can start out with the $40 a month, and then once you want to do affiliates, move up to the $99 a month. But I say, start with PayPal if nothing else. If you're just, selling a few coaching packages or something like that to begin with, then there's no upfront cost for you.
Oh, that's pretty awesome. Okay, so what else, is there anything else that business owners shouldn't spend money on?
No, I think that's the biggest thing, is I see people spending money on the shopping carts that they don't need. And there are other things that, you shouldn't spend money on. There's there's a lot of bells and whistles out there, and you got to kind of hash through it all. So if it's not absolutely necessary and you are bootstrapping, don't get caught up in the hype of every little flashy thing that you see. So just because it sparkles and it looks fun doesn't mean it's absolutely necessary for your business. The absolute necessaries are, you need a website, you need a place where people can come, and get to know who you are, what you offer. You need a way for them to pay you. So that's going to be either PayPal or one shopping cart or something like that. And you need a way to communicate with them. And that would be your email marketing service. Those are the three basic things that you absolutely have to have. So that's if you're bootstrapping. So if you're just getting started, those are the three main things you need, and you can do them, the way that I described. And then all the other stuff is fun, and it's really good, and it's, it enhances everything you're doing, but don't jump on that bandwagon if you can't afford it, because it's just going to take more of your profit when you're just getting started. Plus, it's a lot more platforms that you have to learn if you're doing a lot of stuff by yourself.
I find that with a lot of social media stuff, too. There's so many different tools you can buy, and you can get pretty far with free services. Like the free service I recommend is Buffer App. Buffer App does some really cool things. It gives you some statistics. It's really simple and easy to use. I personally don't like Hootsuite, which a lot of other people use. And that's a personal thing, right? It's nothing against Hootsuite or the service itself. I just don't like how it's organized. It doesn't work for me, right? And I pay for my social media management, and I pay a lot of money, like $150 a month. But I'm managing multiple accounts, and I have multiple people who have multiple accounts, right? So I pay for that, and I pay for the security of knowing that if it breaks, someone else is going to fix it for me. So I use a service. Yeah, I use a service called Sprout Social, and it's the best money it's great. I never regret having to pay that invoice every month, just because it makes my life so much easier. But until you get to the point where you're managing more than like a set of 4 profiles, one Facebook page, one Google Plus page, one LinkedIn page. If you're going beyond that, then I would definitely start paying for those services. Otherwise, use Buffer App. It's free, it's easy, it's beautiful. There's a paid version you can use for it to do more. But I feel the same way. Like, you can buy so much stuff in the social media world that I see people snapping up all these different products and packages and services, and they don't really need it. Really go ask an expert, right? Most people who, if somebody called you up, Rhonda, and said, Rhonda, I need some advice. Does this make sense? Right? You'll probably tell them in 5 minutes, yeah, don't spend your money on that, or yes, go invest in that right now, right? So go ask an expert. Find things like office hours where you can talk to an expert about whether or not something like this makes sense. Let's see. Right. How can we wrap this up, Rhonda? Do you have any burning questions in the VA online business manager world that you want to answer? What do you get asked all the time?
The platform question is what I get asked most of the time, and what should I be using, and how do I get these tasks outlined and to you, and so I can figure out how you can help me and all of that kind of stuff. I offer a free consultation, so like you said, ask an expert. So if you go over to VA Village, you can fill out the form and schedule a free consultation with me, and I would be more than happy to go over, tell me what it is that your goals are and what you have planned, and I can kind of tell you what platforms you really have to have and without. So you can start there, and that's a good way to to kind of get everything in a bundle and know, okay, I'm going in the right direction. So even if you don't, you don't want to hire a VA or an OBM yet, I'm more than happy to share with everyone. And this is a really good community too in this industry. The entrepreneurs, most of them are in the business to help people, and I have found that they are the most helpful people. So, there's someone out there that is willing to help you, to answer some questions and let you learn from their mistakes. And I'm happy to do that as well.
Yeah, I just, on one of my entrepreneur boards, somebody put in a question about sending emails with one shopping cart. And I was like, no, don't do it! No. I have a client who sends her emails out on one shopping cart, and it's been a nightmare. A nightmare. So yeah, never be afraid to ask questions. I love that.
Yet
Any,
I recommend too. If you're using one shopping cart, I recommend a one shopping cart and like an AWeber combination. Because one shopping cart is great for shopping cart and it's great for affiliate management, but their emails never go out on time. And I don't know if they'll ever fix that, but yeah, do not do email marketing in one shopping cart. So that's another industry secret there.
it's a secret. We won't tell anybody except for everybody watching.
Yeah, don't tell anyone else.
So you recommend one shopping cart, but not for email.
Exactly, I do. I recommend it. I use it all the time. I love it. Not for email marketing though, but you can do a really good combination of one shopping cart and AWeber.
So Rhonda, what's the funnest thing you've worked on in the past year?
Um, the funnest thing was probably um, Miss Evana Taylor's telesummits because she's just fun to work with anyway. And we meet a lot of great people along the way too. Everyone that's coming in
Was
to
that the
the
Bizapalooza?
telesummit.
Oh,
Yeah, Palooza, and then she always has fun ones. So like she had a monster marketing and all of that real creative stuff. So I love that. And then we have the thing that I'm working on with you and Ivana with the 50 Shades of Marketing, and that's been a lot of fun because we can be a little facetious with it and have a lot of fun with it. So I like working on things like that. I like working on things that, it can make you laugh, you can have a little fun with it, and you can get really creative with it. So I love those types of projects because I'm a little inappropriate at times. So that's just right up my alley.
so this is
So you have to know that too if you work with me. You have to be a little inappropriate or don't mind someone being a little inappropriate. I told a client, this was funny, I told a client, and she may be watching and she'll think it's funny too, I told her I needed her edits sent over to me for her sales page. And she says she didn't send them over by the weekend. So I sent her a message and I said, okay, and since I don't have your edits, I'm just going to use my best judgment and work on it over the weekend. I said, but I have to let you know that I do drink on the weekends. She sent her edits over.
really quick. So, like, this is a perfect example of why you need an online business manager in your life. The three of us, myself, Rhonda, and Ivana Taylor, sat down and brainstormed the idea for this program called 50 Shades of Marketing. I worked on the copywriting. Ivana worked on the program, and then Rhonda had it all set up, like the technology behind it, within like a day, less than a day, in like 6 hours. Like in 6 hours, we had this all done. And then Rhonda keeps telling us, you need to have this in to me by, this date. Like she keeps our asses in gear and gets the project moving forward. Now, if Ivana and I were trying to do this by ourselves, we would still be in the copywriting phase, right? And we've already launched the first part of 50 Shades of Marketing, which was Twitter pickup lines, and we're on to the second episode, which is that Flirting for Profit? I don't even know. See, Rhonda, what's the next thing that's coming up?
Yeah, it is Flirting for Profit.
Okay, Flirting for Profit. So that's why you need an online business manager, because you just turn it over to Rhonda and she makes it all work for you. So you can do the parts that you're really good at.
Right.
All right, so let's wrap this up. Is there any final things that you want to say, Rhonda?
There's not. I enjoyed this. I'm glad you got your internet working, and I hope that everyone stood by to watch. If not, I guess you can watch the replay. But it's been a lot of fun. I'm glad I got
you also do random hangouts. Talk about random hangouts.
Oh yeah, I do a show called Random Hangouts. I do a couple shows actually. So, and I'll just plug myself. Shameless plug. You give me the chance. Okay. So, I do a show called Random Hangouts, and I do that with Ivana Taylor from DIY Marketers. And it's just a lot of fun. We just talk about random stuff. We'll talk about some business stuff. We'll just talk about, stuff going on in general. We'll talk about funny stuff. And then our favorite thing is we crank call professionals. So if we're talking about something and we want to know a little more about it, then we'll just crank call a professional. We actually crank called you one day.
You did.
And we'll get, yeah. So we get professional views too. We just crank call them randomly and ask them questions. And then I started another show last week. It didn't go the way I wanted it to, but that's okay. And that's another thing. I mean, these people in this industry are so supportive, and even if you have little glitches like we did today, they're so supportive, and nobody's going to throw rotten tomatoes at you. So I tell people, just put yourself out there. Just do it and put yourself out there. If you make a mistake, that's okay too. But I do another show called Hey, Help Me, Rhonda. And help me, Rhonda, help me, Rhonda. I used to get that all the time every time I told someone my name, so now I'm using it as my brand. So I have another show called Hey, Help Me, Rhonda, and that's on Fridays at 1 o'clock. So if you, we talk about everything online business management and VA. So this week we're going to talk about, you guys can join me over there to talk about that.
Awesome. Yay. Well, Rhonda, thank you so much for being a part of Office Hours. I love picking the brains of really smart people. So thank you for being on tonight.
Yeah, I had a great time. Thanks a lot.
So again, that was Rhonda Wall. She's an online business manager with the VA Village, and I'm Amy Novakovsky, CEO of Ginger Snap Works, and we take your social media from UGG to OMG. And this was Office Hours, which is a weekly Google Hangout when my internet works, that will bring you a different business owner or a different conversation about marketing, social media, and how to run a business. So thank you guys for being here, and Rhonda, we'll see you on Hey, Help Me, Rhonda.
Okay, thank you. Bye. Take the village. Bye, guys.